Hey everyone, Chase Nobles here, founder over at Kush.com. We've got a great show for you today. Michael Molinar from FutureAC Water Systems. Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. It was a pleasure to get to meet you at KushCon, and glad you're here.
Thank you, and thank you for having me and everything. It was a pleasure meeting you at KishCom and how it all happened last minute and everything. It was pretty amazing.
It turned out to be a pretty wild show. I think there were is a great turnout, and for a first year show in Tampa, it was nice to meet the local community of entrepreneurs, including yourself.
Yeah, man, that was pretty crazy how that all happened out. Your first show, my first show. It was a both grand open. It was a grand opening for me as well.
Right on. Well, I got to stop by your booth. Was very impressed with what y'all are doing. And I think you have a great story to tell. So let's hop right into it. I do want to get into the product here in a bit, but can you just tell us a little bit about how you got here? Who is Michael Molinar? What
Okay.
was the path that led to the innovation that you've created here with this
Okay.
system?
Oh yeah. Well, if you want to get the good version and everything, everybody could go to my website, FutureACWaterSystem.com. I have a testimony on it, and basically, I'm going to tell you now the same testimony. Well, this all started for 10 years, I was a general advisor of illegal marijuana growing in South Florida. If you wanted to get any type of significant illegal marijuana growing regarding of bedrooms, living rooms, garages, warehouses, and, attics, you speak to me. And, and in my growing career, I was very familiar with growing, electricity, air conditioning, and I was kind of pretty much became myself like a one-man army in my illegal growing career. And then I guess you could say, but in all my indoor growing rooms, we always used the water from the air conditioner to feed our plants. That was just the complete default. It was like it took us some time to figure that out, but after some time, like after a year, it was like, okay, this is the default. No matter what type of rooms that we're using, we're always going to go ahead and grab a condensating pump and use the water to feed our plants. So maybe about 2 or 3 years later on into the business, I started to meet people that was into the business a lot longer than me. And I guess you could say at that time I was a rookie. So what I did is like, what everybody does. When you meet people that's in your business and everything, you start talking about what, each other's grow rooms. And they used to tell me how they do some things, and I told them how I did some things, and I gleaned off of it excellently. But what they liked about on my end, they liked the way that I used the water, and they liked the way that I used to work electricity for safety and air conditioning. And then the guys was just like, okay, Mike, we have all these spots all over the place and everything. How much would you charge me to upgrade these rooms to the way you do your water system and all the other things? And they threw me a great price. And then next do you know, I was going from spot to spot, upgrading rooms, designing rooms, and doing all types of things. Basically, I was making more money managing other people's rooms than my own. It was pretty much one, I bet you could say, the best dream job, as you could say, for that and everything. And and then like they kind of like turned me in. They gave me my name, General, because they were like, when the electricity was bad or something went bad with electricity, they contacted General. When air conditioner breaks, they contact General. Lights, I mean, plants looking yellow, they contact General. And like, they gave me that name. So they were like, okay, if you want to get into it, contact the General. And as you can see in the back, this is the way we always recycled our water. So my growing career ended by getting arrested, and had to try to get back on my feet and everything. But I wanted to get back into the business, but in some type of legal way. And as a grower, I was a great grower, a great manager and everything. But I knew that I had this water system that was a little bit different that nobody had. And this is like 10 years ago. And after the time, I would have thought that, 10 years ago, by now, all the indoor growers would have been using the same system. So, after year one, year two, year three, year four, year five, year six, year seven, I'm like, what's going on here? So I decided, okay, let me give it a shot to, get back into the business and managing indoor grow rooms and showing people my ways of I do things. So I had this way of doing the AC system, and I wanted to get it protected. So I went to a patent attorney because I have a little bit of history of doing some trademark in the past, and we pitched it to him. Now I went to the patent attorneys in doubt, meaning that because people has been using air conditioning water to feed their plants forever. This is not new, and like pretty much we live in pretty much of a time where like almost everything is invented. You know what I mean? It's like everything is very tech. So I went in there with doubt, meaning that, okay, somebody had to do this by now, but let's just find out. And the attorneys was just as well. They loved the idea, but it was like, let's just do this the legal way. So I started off by looking up companies that exclusively does AC water recycling, and it came out blank. And then when we did the patent search, we got back actually several similarities of other AC water system, but nothing like mine. To make a long story short, and then once the attorneys and myself was like, wow, there's other ones out there, but there's nothing like mine. And they're like, okay, Mike. With that being said, let's go forward with this patent, and don't tell nobody, until we get it to right. And then as of last year, we went ahead and got it patent pending, and that's when and that's when now it's open to the public now.
Right on. Congratulations on all the hard work to get there. I have to imagine that must have been a rowdy time. South Florida, illegal grow ops, going to a bunch of random houses, fix things up, make them work. A lot of work involved too, but a lot of work with looking over your shoulder probably every 30 minutes.
Yes,
right?
yes. A lot of I took a lot of heat of my own things, but at the same time, it was just going from spot to spot. But I was still I was still dealing with some heavy guys.
I'm sure you were. South
Yeah,
Florida can be friendly and not so friendly, I would imagine.
yeah.
If it's anything like the West Coast and what we saw, 10 years ago. But what a wild story. So we're speaking with the general now, and general, you got arrested. You're coming back with a vengeance to build something great. I got to imagine that the heat in South Florida really drove the innovation, because the ACs are going year round. There's not really too many cold days. This is a consistent water source for the plants. And it's something that's, always on. So how, when it comes to the implementation of bringing water from the AC and the condensation and all that and pumping it back into the plants, what are we talking volume wise? Can this keep up with a grow operation? Is this
Well, it depends on your growing operation and everything. Let's just, if you're doing something at your home, residential, the biggest you could get for your home is a 5-ton air conditioner. And when we was using the 5-ton air conditioners, the 5 tons, and using them on 12 and 12 and everything, and then sometimes 18, 16, depending on what stage you're in and everything, we was getting 100 gallons every 2 days.
wow?
And then but if you're growing soil, indoor soil and everything, some people do it. I'm not a fan of it and everything, but people, if you're doing indoor soil, you're gonna have too much water. It's way than enough water. But what we used to do, we use a rock wool medium, and in 3 gallon pots and everything, and we went pretty much straight old school and fed the plants every 2 days. So like the 100 gallons that we got was more than enough to feed the 100 plants that we had under the 5-ton. Now when you get into the commercial units and everything, you're looking at the 6 tons, 7 tons, and the 10 tons, all and everything. You're looking at hundreds of gallons a day, minimum hundreds of gallons a day. And it's and like the price that you pay, it's kind of like in limited water,
Right.
for indoor growing and everything. If you're doing hydroponics, if you're doing hydroponics or any type of hydroponic medium, every single time you get the water, you're going to be feeding the plants. But if you're doing soil and mist and everything, you're going to have so much water. It's going to have like gallons after gallons and everything. And I actually have it set up where if you once you have a reservoir and it's full, we could take it to another reservoir, so you always will have water.
Right on. I went to a grow operation in California one time, and I walked in and they closed the door real fast because they like to they condense all of the humidity in the air back into water to feed the plants. And they got it to where they only had to top off the water tank like once every 3 months or something crazy like that. It was pretty wild to see. Um Do you also, how do you think about the humidity in the air and recycling the water? Is that a part of this as well from
Well, yeah, I actually got a
perspiration and
phone.
everything?
I actually got a phone call from a guy, and he wanted to, in his growing operation, he wanted to recycle the water coming from his humidifiers. That was like his goal. And then when he saw my system, he's like, "Oh, you don't do you do humidifiers?" Like, yeah, to do humidifiers or air conditioning. He was like, my gosh, thank you. You know what I mean? Because like his goal was the dehumidifiers, but he's like, not only you guys could do my dehumidifiers, you could do my air conditioners. We have, he's like, I read your thing. We say we have about 30 tons and everything. And he's like, we have air handlers all over the place. And I was like, yeah. And then what I did tell him, I was like, what I'm doing is pretty much upgrading your air conditioner, what is called an atmosphere water generator. There's these machines that they say they're making water out of air and everything, but unfortunately, if you strip them down naked, they're the same parts as an air conditioner. You know what I mean? They have the same underwear, same panties, same everything. And an atmosphere water generator. I'm working with this guy that actually sells them, and that's how he found me. He actually sells them. An atmosphere water generator to give you 30 gallons a day and everything, about $15,000.
Oh, wow. Pretty expensive.
Yes, very expensive. Plus, you have to plug it in. You know what I mean? And then on top of it, you have to make it, you're not going to make 30 gallons a day when you actually have it inside a home or an inside of a business that's actually cool inside. They're
Hmm.
really made to, you have to plug them in and put them outside so they grab the outside humidity. So it will make a lot more water, but it's the same thing as an air conditioner. And the pricing that I charge of a company upgrading their system is to night and one. This is like a 10-ton air conditioner is going to give you hundreds of gallons a day, at least 100, 100 gallons a day. So, and an atmosphere water generator is going to cost you 15,000. I'm just going to charge you 1,500 just off that unit, and your air conditioner people will charge you parts and labor. You know what I mean? I'm pretty much giving it away compared to what an atmosphere water generator goes for and everything. So the guy was like straight to the point, Mike. You trying to tell me each unit and everything $1,000 unit? And then I was like, yeah. He was like, got it. You know what I mean? Got it. And he's gonna bring it to his engineers and everything and say, like, if this thing is possible, because he wanted to know, like, we do reverse osmosis. And he's like, what's the difference between the reverse osmosis and an AC water? I'm going to tell you, you're going to get a difference is a 50 ppm because it's coming off the aluminum. It's coming off the aluminum. Now, reverse osmosis is going to get it all the way down to zero, and you're not going to get a difference of no plants of a 50 ppm and a 0 ppm. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, taking rainwater and put it through reverse osmosis is kind of like a waste of time because you waste more. And then you got to take that and cycle it back. You know what I mean? I told him if you want to do it, of course you can. You know what I mean? But it's a waste of time. And I've been doing it for over years and I haven't had a dead plant yet. You know what I mean? Like, it was like one of the great successes of our crops and everything because when you use an AC water, it just makes growing easy. You know what I mean? Just growing easy, less sick plants and everything. And like, not trying to say you're going to get a better crop, but you're going to actually have a way more efficient grow room. Everything is a lot more greener. This is a way more efficient, greener crop and a more efficient grow room.
Thinking about that, anybody that grows indoors knows that temperature control is incredibly important, right? And the lights put out a lot of heat. If you're growing with, HPLC or whatnot, they're putting out a ton of heat every second that they're on. And so the AC is, kind of key and required. And the AC water usually just drains off to the outside or something like that, right?
It's drained off to the waste. Exactly. Some depending on some facilities, some people have it, put to the side. But if some of them are putting to waste, depending on the place, they have to pay for the waste. They're covertly paying for the waste, depending on which system it is and how they have it hooked up and everything. But there are plenty of buildings that are actually have it to waste, and depending on the buildings, they charge you waste and some don't and everything. But for the ones that do charge you waste, they're covertly paying for the waste.
So now that you're up and live, how's it going? Have you gotten to do some implementations in the market with this
Well,
new legal entity with the patent pending product and everything going on? How's it going? Curious to
well,
hear.
so far so good. Like I said, we just opened up in June, and we went to we went to, we're basically touring and doing our grand opening year, I guess you could say. We landed a spot. We're going to be in Cannabis Now magazine, and we're going to be in the November issue.
Nice.
Cannabis Now. I met David over at KushCon and everything, and he saw this and he's like, "Listen, we're gonna, he offered me a great deal." And he's like, Cannabis Now. That's like pretty much like High Times, pretty much next to High Times. The best cannabis growing magazine out there. So, that's what's going to be out there. And then, at the same time, I want to patent. I'm sorry, I want to license this out to local air conditioning companies, and so they could go ahead and upgrade their people, their customers as well. There'll be, there's a lot of people are very surprised once they find out that the water could be recycled, because a lot of people actually, build their gardens around where the AC drips. And some people actually have hens and animals just where the AC, they deliberately do that and everything. But now they find out with my system, it could be controlled. I could put the water anywhere you want to now, you know? So that's what I'm currently working on right now, is licensing it out to air conditioner companies all throughout the United States, and also to the air conditioner companies that does that does a service for the indoor growers. Like, for like, let's just say, for an example, if this company wants to do the upgrade, they could either hire me and bring my team in and everything if they're out of state, and we could do the upgrade because I'm HC certified and all that. But it's a lot better for their air conditioner company to do the install, for them to get licensed up and their air conditioner company do the install, because since they already have a relationship with them, because it does maintain some maintenance, filter changing and everything. So that's what that's what we're focusing to do. So, like, we're sending out, the new news to air conditioning companies, and that, here's an add-on to your company and everything. And then at the same time, we're starting off, locally, to let us know, starting in November, that this is coming out to the for homes, actually for homes.
Right. I mean, you got started in cannabis, right?
Yes.
But you have a refrigerator and an ice maker, and everywhere else you use water, not just outdoor, plant watering, but also anywhere that you use water. I could see this on large apartment buildings, things like that. So
Yeah.
it's really exciting to see all the different paths to market that you can take. And outside of just indoor growing, although I think that's probably going to be a staple because it's got such a high water demand.
Yeah, like, if anyone just looks up, you know what I mean, all the good things for AC water, it's like the list goes on, you know what I mean? Patio things, and, like, washing, cleaning, the list goes on, but it's all about being patient and just waiting for the water to collect. So if you're a type of person that you work on your gardens on the weekends and you're collecting your air conditioner water Monday through Friday, by the time the weekend comes around, you got 50 gallons. You could do anything that you want with. Wash your car, do whatever you want with it and everything. And also water restrictions in other areas. What, I did some math. Were we going to a national, if things go right, we'll be going to a national disaster expo in November in California. And we have it on this website that, Mike, how is your water system, the solution for the water shortage that we have in our country? So I went ahead and I did the math before and everything. And to make a long story short, California is losing a minimum of 200 million gallons a day of AC water. If you
Right.
was going to, if you was going to, count up some homes and count up the businesses and everything, I have it on my website of the math. Doing the demographics, meaning that they have 14 million homes, and then 75% of them have air conditioning. I have it on my website, just, so you could go ahead and, like, figure it out yourself. But at the end of the day, it comes out to a minimum 200 million gallons a day being wasted. And the way you fix this is that a simple water waste management system has to be placed in, like a garbage waste, and you just come by the house once a week or twice a week and just pick up the water.
That'd be pretty wild,
You know what
wouldn't
I
it?
mean? It's just like you have the systems, to help water shortage and everything. It's like, if people wants to help water shortage or volunteer and everything, you have the system and put in, and then you have it set up where they actually have it set up. They can do it for the water and the waste. This is something that will, like, a little bit over here. this. When you look at the patent, I have it set up where it's like, an overflow. So you can have your own water supply, and the rest you could give it away. And then they could be able to come by once a week and come pick up the 100 gallons or the 30 gallons or 50 gallons a week and everything, and have the water just transported, just like garbage. You know what I mean? But every week you just come by, pick up the water, and have it. And this the sobering thing about it is that I will openly admit, after KushCon going to you, I started to research this, and I actually saw for the first time in my whole entire life a 1 million gallon reservoir. It's huge.
It
It's
is
huge.
huge.
I never seen one in my whole entire life.
Like a pond.
You know what I mean? They're huge. They make them wide and they make them tall. To give you an example of the tall ones, they're almost as tall as the nuclear cooling towers.
Right. I
You know
believe
what I mean?
that's pretty
And
wild.
yeah, but that's 1 million gallons. And with this water system put in place and everything, within a year or two, you could fill these up by the hundreds a day. You know what I mean?
Right.
Hundreds a day. You know what I mean? So water shortage, done. What's the next problem?
I think you
You
need
know
to
what I
go to
mean?
California. You need to install this on a single house, a place that's, destined to get drought. And when that water restriction comes in, they'll be the only one with a green neighborhood, and then that'll sell itself. A green yard in the
Yeah, that's
neighborhood.
that
That
was
that
the
seems
whole
like a good
reason.
marketing picture you could take right there.
Yeah, that was like whole reason why we're going to the National Disaster Expo, because in all honesty, that was not in my plan. I met a guy that he's into selling atmospheric water generators, and he's opening up a new company, and he's doing his grand opening at a National Disaster Expo. And then when he found out about my system, he was like, "Mike, you can come over here with me and everything on this." And I was like, at first, I was like, I don't know why it's not in my plan. So I started to dig a little bit more about water shortage. And when I first did, when you go to my website and I have a video of what's the water shortage and everything. When me and my team did it, we came to a sobering amount of 100,000 gallons a day. So we were like, okay, 100,000 gallons a day, that's fine. Let's shoot it. You know what I mean? Let's shoot it. That's water shortage, fine and everything. But as I started digging into more and everything, it turned it from 100 gallons to 1 million gallons to 200 million gallons alone just in California. And I was like, mind blowing,
Right.
completely mind blowing of how much. But if you put in a water waste management system as well, you know what I mean?
And this
But
could help you go off the grid, right? You get some solar panels, a big battery, and you have AC and reusable
you know
water.
what?
You'll be living
You like,
pretty sweet
oh
in
my goodness
a
gracious,
disaster with
yes,
AC and water and
yes.
electricity.
The funny thing about it is that the wall units, you know what I mean? People don't buy them, but the window units and everything, they're making those window units so much better and efficient today. You know what I mean? Even though nobody buys them, and even if you get an old one and everything, if you go off grid, you go off grid, the way they're making those today, one or two solar panels to that AC, you got air conditioner 24, one or two solar panels for the AC and a battery pack, so you're running it at night. But when you're running it at night, it turns on and off. You know what I mean? So you
Right.
still be good and everything. But you get one of those, a couple solar panels, a couple batteries, you got AC off grid all day
And water
and
now.
water. You know what I mean? And you just grab the water and you have water and ice. You know what I mean? You have
and
water.
and you could have some weed too. So sounds like a pretty ideal situation if there was
Yes, yes,
a
yes.
cataclysmic event.
Yes, 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 yes. So
Well,
living off grid, today living off grid, and what people love about living off grid is great, but we're gonna take off grid living to the next level. We got air conditioner. What? I'm out of here.
and you got weed. We're going to
You
Michael's
know what
house.
I mean? Air conditioner.
Michael, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. I appreciate you taking the time to hop on the podcast with us. Best of luck with everything you got going on. I'm very
Thank
impressed,
you.
very proud, and what a great story to see you come out here, bring a new product to market, get a patent on something that seems so, you know, innovative when you look at it, but also obvious, right? So congratulations on all this, and I
Thank
wish
you,
you the
man. I
best
really
success
appreciate
with
that.
this business. So great. Michael Molinar, FutureAC Water Systems, congratulations. I look forward to talking to you in the next 6 months, see how things are going.
Great. Look forward towards it. And thank you very much, man. KushCon.com.
Have a good
One
one,
of the
man.
best expos. One of the best expos. I had a really great time. If it wasn't for you, you know, thank you.
So shout out to kush.com. Appreciate it, Michael.
Shout out.
All right. Have a good one.
Take care.